Hello, everyone. And hi, Bill. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thanks. So, of course, before we got started, Bill and I were chatting about all the fun things happening in real estate. And one of the topics we started talking about was some of the complexities of buying and selling at the same time, because that can be a little challenging. And I've noticed a lot more people are in their homes when I'm showing homes because they really can't, they're waiting for the equity in their current home to buy their next home. They
Mhm.
really don't have an interim place to go. Kind of wanted to chat a little bit about, some of the things to pay attention to when you're buying one house and selling the other house simultaneously. Because I know
Yeah.
you guys have on the lending side, not everyone can always not be contingent. So you may have an opportunity or you may not be, meaning that they may not qualify for that second loan when they're until they sell their primary loan, which is another reason that people don't buy and sell at the same time, or why it gets a little complex.
Well, yeah. So when you look at qualifying, if you're doing contingent or not contingent on selling your home to buy the new home, you have to A, have the down payment for the new house,
Mhm.
and then B, be able to qualify with all payments together, right?
And
And
would you consider that so the property they're selling, so let's just say someone's buying the second house. The first house they're buying that they have the loan on, do you see that as a rental property anyway, or do you just see it having to support both payments?
yeah, you're supporting both payments.
Okay.
So when you're vacating that primary in the eyes of Fannie, Freddie, Jenny, now that becomes an investment property. So you have to qualify for that full principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and HOA on
Well,
its
you don't know
own.
we have Fannie, Freddie, and Jenny. A lot of people may not know who those three people are.
That's because I live in the world, so I just bring it up freely, and I always
You do,
forget.
and I thought about that because I mean I know who they are, but I just thought I'm like, well, maybe you don't know. Maybe they just actually think they're people. So you know,
Yeah,
Fannie,
no. So
they are.
Fannie
They're
Mae,
not your bosses.
they're not my bubble, kind of. They're
Well, no, but maybe
they
yeah.
without them, I wouldn't be able to learn for the most part, right?
This is true.
So Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are conventional loans, right? So 30-year fixed. That is the quote unquote conventional world. So that, yeah, they also take shorter terms and stuff like that, but that's conventional mortgages. Jenny, Ginnie Mae is the government side of it. Okay. When it comes to FHA loans, Federal Housing Administration, break that
Yeah.
down. USDA, sells rural places, and VA, so veterans, that Jenny's over those three types of products. So that's different. And for the most part, similar guidelines. Just when it comes to qualifying, there's different qualifying standards associated with each type of program.
So
So
a Freddie would not be one conventional loan. It's all conventional loans, and there's all different ways to. There's what creates the different type of conventional loans under Freddie? Is that investors who are going?
Freddie and Fannie, it's actually guideline differences. So
Right.
technically, it's two separate investors, quote unquote, that are buying the paper, right? With the loans. But Freddie has different guidelines than Fannie.
Okay.
It's very confusing, and we swap a lot. A lot of the time, honestly, the client doesn't know, are we
Yeah.
going with Fannie or Freddie guidelines? I'll swap between the two based on maybe certain parameters the client might have or certain issues
Like
that you might
credit
run into.
scores or something like that, or down payment money.
Seasoning periods. Fannie goes a little higher on debt to income than Freddie.
Okay.
Sometimes the underwriting software we submit it to will
Mhm.
like it. Will like one profile more than the other one. It's really odd. There's no rhyme or reason to it besides their underwriting software. So a lot of, as a consumer, you would honestly probably never know that we're switching between the two, but we have that option in order to help the client out, right? And so without the direct mortgage, we have all that available to us. We're able to honestly put the client in the right position. Or if you're getting, I call snake bitten or snake bite, like an issue that we're running into with the client or something like that, we can pivot to different options, different guidelines.
That's cool.
So, but going back to the conversation, vacating property, that becomes an investment property now in the eyes of the investors, right? To qualify. So you're now making a good chunk of money nowadays. You got to qualify for all the payments combined on top of your credit cards and your car payment. So it's tough for
Gosh.
that it's tougher for clients to qualify for it all to not be contingent. But there's out of the box ideas. There's things called bridge loans. Um, it's kind of similar to what the name is. It bridges two properties together.
Okay.
So essentially, it works for people that either have free and clear homes or a ton of equity. Usually. So
does that bridge loan act like a home equity line of credit for a temporary period?
essentially, yes.
Okay.
The majority of bridge loans give you the money to put the down payment on the next.
So it's not like a personal loan where you're just going based on, there has to be. So meaning like just come out. If I have credit and I want a bridge loan, that doesn't mean I can get the bridge loan. I have to have some collateralization in that house that I'm selling. So
Yeah.
it's not a personal loan. It's based on your property.
Based on your property. And
Okay.
once again, you have to qualify for all the payments.
Okay.
So bridge loans help with the down payment aspect, right?
So a bridge loan
Now-
would not be effective for someone if they did not have, let's just say they only have like, pretend like $20,000 worth of equity, but they needed a $100,000 bridge loan. Okay. Got it. So you
No,
can't qualify for a bridge loan, like get more.
There are cross collateral bridge loans, which I've done quite a few of those,
Okay.
that allow you, like, case in point, I have a client that owns a $1.3 million house. They're buying a $1 million home right now, but the house they're leaving is free and clear. So these bridge loan products really only work if it's free and clear or super low loan on and have a ton of equity. Like in this case, they have a free and clear property. So for cross collateral, essentially they're going to take a full bridge loan amount to pay for that house in quote unquote cash with that bridge loan.
And then they just pay that bridge loan off after they close.
And then they're going to sell. Yes. Now bridge loans, they're shorter term loans.
Okay.
So there's some as low as 3 months that you have to sell your home, or this one that I like to use is 12 months. Because it gives
I'm assuming there's a cost to those as well.
Well, yeah, you have a payment associated every time.
No, but meaning like it's going to, because I know like when I did a reverse 1031 exchange, so it was a 1031 exchange, but I bought the subject property first instead of selling my property. I bought the 1031 exchange property, but there was a cost for me to buy that because it was a unique situation. So I ended up having to pay like 1% or something of the loan of that property I was buying. So it was a little pricey, but for that particular time, it made sense because it was when things were really hard to buy, but really easy to sell. And on a 1031 exchange, you have those timelines and you're screwed if you don't meet them.
That's a great conversation to have on another video and bring on a CPA, because a lot of people don't know about those reverse 1031s.
Great idea. I will.
Yeah. Note that down. That's a great conversation. I helped a client a couple months ago by bringing that up, and it helped them a ton. So that's a good conversation to have. Because it's not one that they always talk about. But yes, there's shorter term loans. There's costs associated with them that are higher than normal conventional loan. So it works for some people. Now, when you're in a home, and I do a lot of home tours, like, right? We're out there looking at these homes. You see some of these homes that are being lived in while you're showing the home. I'm sure you can talk more to it. But if you're contingent, we can qualify you based on the contingency, based on saying, okay, this house is going to be sold.
Yeah.
And then we're going to move the equity over and we're going to, boom, we're good. And contingent offers, I feel like, are taken more serious now. I'm sure you can attest to that. But you run into that issue. What you brought up is the fact that how clean is the home? How are you going to keep that home in a good position to sell?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you could hit on that more, right?
Well, it's tough because, if your house has been on the market for a little while for any particular reason, and you have kids to have to deal with, or pets, or elderly parents live in your home, or whoever, right? It doesn't make a difference. Anybody who you have to coordinate to leave your house for that showing. Now you have to clean up the house. It can get to be a lot for some folks. And I totally understand that. I completely get it. It can be a challenge. So sometimes having these loans where you move into the property first and then get your house ready to sell versus versus trying to stay in the same. But everything can be worked around. It's just, where is your pain point mostly?
Yeah.
And now, something else to think about when you're doing this, and this is where some people get a little sideways, is if you're closing on one property and you're buying another and you plan on doing it the same day, just remember there's a whole lot of stuff going on.
A lot of money being moved around.
A lot of money being moved around. And our challenge here, especially when we're on Pacific time, is that most people don't realize these wires have to go through the Federal Reserve. And those do not happen after 2 p.m. because it shuts down on East Coast time. So all of our stuff has to happen prior to that. And that can be challenging sometimes, because if you decided to use 2 different title companies, then one has to not, so you have to wire in the closing funds from the buy to the title company, who has to clear it through their registry, who then has to now wire it to the new title company, who then has to get the funds, who then has to clear it through them and then send it. So there's just a lot of stuff going on. So it's really, really important, to make sure that if you're trying to close in the same day, that either there's like a cash buyer, or my recommendation is always like close on one, ask for like an overnight post possession. Yes. And then because ideally you want to be at least at the same title company.
Yeah.
Because if you're not at the same title company, trying to get those funds coordinated, that adds a whole other layer of complication. So it's all about timing.
I remember when we did a simul close, when we bought our house, our family house, what I call almost 10 years ago now. I remember joking with Chris, and she had to go work. And I'm like, I'm just going to be homeless. I had the movers come pack up everything. I was homeless for 6 hours. I had the 2 dogs, my in-laws' house, sitting there, making sure the dogs didn't the house. And then finally, luckily I got the call. At 4:30 that I was no longer homeless.
Right.
It is a challenge.
But it's also good though to have like moving companies like, just in time, who have storage.
It's actually who I used.
Before I knew them. Because they have a storage facility, so they can take your stuff, move it into a storage place in their space, and then bring it back for you. So there's all these little things. It may cost a little bit more for some of this stuff, but I've never seen a situation where paying for peace of mind can be more essential than in some of the simultaneous closing move date things.
Kristen was 7 months pregnant, so I didn't.
I just had more stress on that poor woman. Goodness.
I was like, yes. I had to go to work the next day, and Justin and I was already moved everything in by the time I got back at like 1:00. So they were awesome.
Exactly. So there's definitely things to do and make it work, but you need to make sure you're doing all the right things, because one little hiccup can cause challenges, and you just need to make sure you're planning correctly. And there's plenty of time to plan correctly, right? When everyone knows the goal, and it may not be super easy, but it can be done. Like, it's not super simple to be like, oh, we'll just close on the same day. I'll just move everything out of one house and into the next. I've never seen that actually. I only had it happen one time, where my clients literally finished the moving truck on the one house. We were at the same title company, flipped it, and closed on the next one. They literally drove it to the next house. But it was a lot of discussion with both agents on timing and just kind of making it work. And it doesn't.
Making sure everybody's on the same page.
Yes, everyone's on the same page. It's like kind of waiting for the recording to go out, then waiting for you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just, everybody was working together, title company, everybody. So it can happen.
It happens.
It can happen, but just, you have to be prepared.
Yeah. And having the right team together. And that's what we're here for. And even if I'm not involved, I'm happy to help give that information to help them hear it. That's it first.
And never schedule it to close on a Friday or a Monday in that situation.
No, don't do that either.
Don't ever do that.
And don't pull up to your place in a brand new Corvette and scare your agent. Yeah,
that's a bad idea. Not funny. But I've forgiven you for that since then. But But yeah, so thank you so much. This was a good. I know that we're seeing a lot of this now too. Or again, we talked last week about relocation and moving, and just especially if you're trying to close on two houses in different states, that's even more fun. So
Mhm.
just a reminder to everybody, it can definitely be done. We just all need to know ahead of time. We all need to do as much preparing as possible, and there's going to be a few pain points, and we'll always talk about how to reduce those pain points. But some of those reductions and pain points may come with a cost, but it may be
Mhm.
worth it for you as the client. We can just
Yes.
have all those conversations, decide on the lending on how this can happen. If anyone has any questions, of course, always call Bill and I, and we are happy to have a chat. Our contact information. Oh, look, I love those. I know these weird things always start popping up randomly. There's a way to set off fireworks too. I just can't remember how. But anyway, if you have any questions, our contact information is in the chat. Please feel free to reach out to us, and you have a wonderful rest of your week.
You too.
Thanks.